Hello again. E-hailing company Uber is under fire for knowingly putting its drivers, including here in South Africa, at risk. This has been revealed in what is now known as the Uber files. The files reveal how Uber allegedly broke the law in several countries and lobbied powerful politicians to help them expand. The International Alliance of App-Based Transport Workers is concerned about these revelations. The group is now demanding Uber, government, unions and policymakers should be held accountable. Yaseen Aslam, he's from this alliance, is joining us now live this hour from London. Welcome to Today on eNCA, Yaseen. Thank you very much for your time. Just firstly, your overall reaction to these Uber files.
Yeah, firstly, thank you for having me today. And just to say, yes, I'm not shocked. So just to give you a bit of background, I'm one of the claimants that took Uber to court here in London in 2015, which we won at the Supreme Court, yeah? So as the president of Uprising College Union, we're part of this international alliance. So, I mean, the problem is this is how Uber operates. The model is based on exploiting and abusing workers. And what's not shocking is the fact that they're spending a lot of money on lobbying and corruptions. And that's how this model is based. They're not seeing the human cost and the damage that is being done to the human at the back of this.
Yeah, and you've issued a statement as the International Alliance, and one of the points you make is that still today, Uber continues to operate by breaking laws.
That's correct. That's exactly what they're doing. I mean, even if you look here in the Supreme Court case in the UK, London, for example, we won at the Supreme Court, but Uber today still is not complying with this ruling. And this, unfortunately, the problem we're seeing is it's just the same problem, whether it's in Nigeria, whether it's in South Africa. This company is failing to comply with the law. And I think it's because they could, one, afford to not obey the law, and secondly, because they think they're above the law.
You say there's corrupt ways that they're operating and buying political favors in different jurisdictions is how they've managed to grow market share.
Of course, that's exactly how it was. It's all about corruption. It's all about trying to lobby politicians. It's all about trying to change the laws in their favor, not in the favor of the workers. And don't forget, it's the workers that helped build this platform. And the reason why Uber is successful is without the workers, it wasn't possible.
Yeah, you know, here in South Africa, when they came around, I think it was in 2013, if I'm not mistaken, they've claimed to have created opportunities for thousands of people in South Africa in terms of enabling their lives and supporting entrepreneurs. How would you respond to that claim?
I mean, I think it's completely false, because if you really look at it, the model heavily relies on BME. And when I say BME, that means Black, Asian, ethnic minority community that they rely on exploiting. And yes, Uber spins it as, yes, they created so many opportunities, but it's false, because all they're doing is denying them basic rights. They're not willing to pay the minimum wage. They're not willing to allow these guys statutory benefits. And we have similar cases in South Africa, which the driver did file in the tribunal, but unfortunately were unsuccessful due to a technical issue where Uber was claiming that the drivers in South Africa need to file a case in Amsterdam because that's where the headquarters is. And therefore, these drivers are still being denied their rights. You know, so yes, it's all good and well for them to create these opportunities, but what they're doing is basically relying on desperate, vulnerable workers that they could exploit and abuse in order to gain themselves.
Your statement mentions something which I just want you to spend a minute or so on it. You say in cities across the world, from New York to Mumbai and beyond, countless drivers have committed suicide, descended into depression, and ended up in debt.
I mean, that's exactly as it is. It goes back to the last question you asked, where Uber claims to create these opportunities. But what they've done is further push these people into further hardship. So, for example, when you look at India, you have drivers go out, buy these expensive, take out finance on cars. Same in South Africa, same in other parts around the world where they went out, bought these expensive cars. They have all these overheads. So what they done is, because they then, like when Uber first started in the market, they were investing a lot of money. So basically, they were paying more money than what the customers were actually paying to take a ride. So that honeymoon period eventually finished. And as Uber started reducing the fares, increasing their commission, bringing more and more drivers onto the app, we started seeing a different network effect where it meant drivers were working really long hours and they're struggling to make basic end meets and on top cover their expenses, which led to drivers, committing suicide. We had many drivers in New York, for example, commit suicide. Unfortunately, and that's what happens when you're dealing with people at the bottom end, and especially when on the other side, you've got companies that made millions or billions on the back of it.
Yeah, finally, before we conclude, Yaseen, you end your statement with a call to action, noting that these leaked documents, the Uber files, are revealing what you call a systematic pattern of compromise, political leaders, scholars and policymakers. And then you are urging the labor movement across the world to take action. What kind of action?
That's exactly, basically, if you look at it, go back to 2012, 2014 or 15 when Uber was in the prime time. And one of the things that they didn't expect is drivers to come together, because it was all about isolating these drivers and making sure that they didn't fight, they didn't unionize. And that started happening. For example, the International Alliance of App-Based Transport Workers. This is a movement of workers from 23 different countries come together and trying to take on companies such as Uber. Now, what we're now seeing is Uber knows they're losing. We're seeing these yellow unions, like corrupted unions, coming forward and doing these backroom deals with Uber, which undermines the workers. So, for example, we have laws in place already to protect these workers. So at first, Uber was trying to lobby these workers, lobby these politicians, change these laws. But now what we're seeing is Uber is actually going out there and buying these unions out, which are actually working for Uber or lobbying for Uber. So this is why one of the requests or our demand is for these unions to actually come forward and do what's right. And that's fight for the workers and stand with the workers and not do these backroom deals with Uber or lobby for Uber, where the workers are losing out.
Thank you very much for your time and responses this afternoon here on Today on eNCA. That's Yaseen Aslam from the International Alliance of App-Based Transport Workers talking to us live from London.